New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
Do people still do claymation? Is that still a thing? I feel like technology has progressed beyond that.
I think it's eclipsed a little bit, but I think there's like a market for like a retro claymation movement.
Maybe.
Because people are so jaded on CG.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Windows 98 laptop and do the little CG thing that I had as a kid, which I think just spun like a cylinder or a cone in 3D and mesmerize people who do claymation.
Wow. That movie Isle of Dogs.
Wait, was that claymation?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wes Anderson still does that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like the
Fantastic Mr. Fox
alternative.
Yeah. It's very Wes Anderson.
It is.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Yeah. So, I wanted to see that.
Which one?
So badly. Isle of Dogs.
Oh, yeah. I watched it
Dog?
on a plane.
Isle of Dog?
Isle of Dogs.
Okay. Plural.
Yes.
Makes
It
sense.
was supposed to be if you say it real fast, it sounds like another word, and I can't remember what that is.
Isle of Dog. I love dogs.
I love dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it.
How clever.
Yes.
And I do love dogs.
That's what we expect from Mr. Anderson.
I was playing with 2 Shibas this weekend, and I go, me, I love dogs, but I just can't have one because 1, I'll forget to water it, and 2, my home is a Fabergé egg of mid-century modern furniture, and if you've ever watched a video of a Shiba just going nuts, and I actually love it, it's kind of amazing how much energy they have, but it's also just tearing up whatever place that they're in.
Yes.
But I played with 2 of them, and we were riding around. I love this. I don't know if you saw it in our group chat, but we were riding around in Jordan's E-Class, the latest one, which I don't. It's the W something. Is it still W? It's still W.
Could be.
I think it's W. W something, but I don't know what the new ones are.
W169.
Yep. W420.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I shot a picture, or I sent a picture to the group, and I think Daniel Golson liked the photo and then retracted it, and he said, I was going to heart that, and then I noticed that it had the analog gauges.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
But yeah, that's my dog story. I'll have to post a photo of one of them because one's a Mame Shiba. It's a miniature Shiba, and normally I don't like tiny versions of regular dogs, but this thing is very perfect, and it is very crazy. But
oh, that's good.
In a smaller way.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Anyways, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was fine. Nothing eventful happening.
Yeah. Well, it's because the car has been incapacitated.
Mine's incapacitated a little bit.
Yeah. Catastrophic air conditioning failure. Nope, that'd be my car.
Oh,
Your car was something else.
Lots of little teeny hoses or something. I don't know.
Which is all that they're load-bearing hoses in every 911 that just cause
They're probably
issues.
ones that I replaced in 2016 that are now expired.
Probably, yeah. We got a good view of them the other day, 2 weekends ago, when we were our friend Jules that we met, or I met him at the PCA meets through you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you knew him from too?
Yeah. I think it was one of those things where we saw him at the get-togethers and then got to know him at the rally.
Yeah.
The first year I went, but he and his girlfriend Tamara, they are very interesting people, and
they are.
They are originally from Australia. They each have 911s and air-cooled old
but
ones.
The thing is, it's not even that's not even the cool thing. The cool thing is that they take road trips together in separate cars.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really cool. So each one gets to experience the drives wherever it is that they're going, and they'll go really far. They went to.
They drove to Rensport.
Yeah, they drove to Rensport.
They shipped the cars to Rensport and drove back.
Yeah.
And they've gone to Big Bend. And,
Yeah.
and plus the rallies every year.
And Jules has a G50 Carrera, but it's right-hand drive because he bought it while living in the UK.
And that's now Tamara's car.
Yeah, yeah. And
he bought the 85 Carrera
85 Carrera
that you looked at.
that I looked at like a year before he bought it, and then it instantly needed a rebuild, which is what brings us to pardon you, Kevin, even though it was my computer. That's probably gonna happen a lot more. I'm gonna mute that real quick.
Mr. Popular gets emails.
It's nothing but
Nothing
like
to brag about.
like coupons.
So Jules' engine in the 85 Carrera needs a rebuild.
Yep.
And so he told us his plan was to take the engine out, buy a replacement engine, buy another Carrera engine.
Yeah, you sent me.
Drop it in.
Yeah.
And then over the span of maybe a year, rebuild or 6 months, rebuild his car's original engine and kind of figure it out himself, which I thought was really cool.
Do it himself,
and admirable.
which is pretty cool. Like,
yeah,
and like he seems actually fairly mechanically inclined.
Yeah, definitely.
Much more so than us, say for instance.
We are idiots.
Yes. And so yeah, that's still like there's like a little bit of a mystery to it. So we were in his garage, and he was about to drop the engine, and we swung by to help out.
Yeah, because when he told us the plan, I was like, I want to help out. I'll do anything. Yeah. I'll hold the beer. I'll do whatever. I'll buy the beer. I'll stand there.
And we did.
Yeah.
But also, like, we disconnected some hoses.
Yeah, we did some things.
Yeah.
I think it was helpful to have an extra set of hands.
Oh yeah, totally.
And we made ourselves useful. Some
we did
more than others.
Yes. We didn't get in the way, is what you're trying to say. We didn't say drop the car on him.
Right. So it was cool. I mean, it's fun. I'm sure many of the listeners know, but you drop the engine from the bottom onto like a.
You drop it and you lift the car.
You lift the car up over it.
Yeah, and the car goes pretty high.
Yeah.
I think it has to clear 30 inches, something like that. Maybe not quite 30 inches, but pretty high.
Yeah.
And then the engine drops low as it can go, and then out it goes. But there are surprisingly not a lot of things like holding it in, as far as like connection points. I mean, obviously like the mounts and whatnot.
I mean, I think most cars have like 4 mounts.
Yeah,
but it just seems
the hoses,
easy.
The wires, it just didn't seem like. It seems like it should have been more complicated, but that's kind of. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that draw you to these dumb old cars, is that it is actually simple, surprisingly, even though like that simple thing, as you and I have learned, like trying to do like just small stupid things in our cars, ends up taking 4 times longer, and you either break it or like it is much worse off than when you started. But
we'll have to post a couple pictures from that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I really am eager to jump back in and help him put the other engine in or whatever.
I think it'd be really cool. And that's just like, I don't know if I would have the patience, and so I applaud him for being able to like plan all that out. But he is doing something that like I don't know if I would consider doing it necessarily, because it is kind of a large expense, but getting the spare engine so that you can use the car. But that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you don't really lose money per se, like
right, he could resell that thing
so
easily.
Unless that needs a rebuild too,
there's always that chance.
2 projects to fill that time with. And speaking of old cars, if anyone follows car people on Twitter, our friend Blake Z Wrong finally fulfilled his childhood dream. His destiny, if you will.
He bought a Saab.
He bought a Saab.
It's a 900 turbo.
He bought an air-cooled Saab.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
Looks great.
It has Incas. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, as far as like any Saabs that he could have bought, he bought, I think, one of the best ones.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, it looks like it's in really good condition.
If he had bought like an NG, is that the term?
Yeah.
The new gen. If you bought like a later Vigan, I would have said, "Wow, you bought half a Saab."
Yeah, or no Saab at all. It's actually those are based off of an Opel. So
Right.
and
There's still some sobbiness to them.
The NG stands for New Generation. It was the first GM based or GM produced Saab. So that was the 94 and up. Every Saab 94 and up, except for even the 9000, were GM cars. But Blake bought a real Saab.
Yeah, I think it's an 85.
85, yeah, same as Lance's LeBaron.
Okay.
As they commiserated. Both are turbo. Both will, at some point in time, be in similar states of
under a sheet in Maryland, in rural Maryland.
Yep. But no, that's such a cool car. It's a really cool car. I would love to have a Saab 900 turbo or even a 99 turbo, something like of that old era. Does this have the louvers?
No
louvers.
No louvers.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, it's cool. So I will probably see it in the next month.
Oh.
When I go to Jeff's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully I can drive it. That would be really cool. That would be the third Saab I've driven.
Whoa. Wait, what are the other two?
Stevens.
Oh yeah, but that was like the last gen 930.
Shut up. Counts. The key was in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And David Grimshaw's Saab 95.
Oh yeah.
95.
Yeah. Saab 95. It was a wagon.
Yeah.
It's a wagon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it 3 on the tree, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen that in person, and I love the patina, and I like that he actually drives it.
Yeah, he dailies it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
crazy.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember if it has AC? Because it's in Austin, and
no,
it does get hot.
It does not.
Today, I was in the Carrera, and it maybe cracked 80 today, and the AC is not functional at the moment. And
but you like it warm.
I like it warm, but it was pretty warm.
Did you have the sunroof open?
I had all of the orifices open as much as I could, and it was still like a little toasty. So I think I'm going to have that fixed, even though slowly but surely, like every time I bring it in to have the AC looked at, they fix a component and it gets it closer to getting fixed. But it's I want to go in there and just say, like, what's it going to take to just make it actually work? But slowly but surely. So we'll see. So Blake has a Saab.
Blake has a Saab.
Yeah. And he may or may not go to New York with it, which is a potential plan that he has, and that will be interesting because he'll look like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, what a good way of looking at that.
A Saab in New York.
Yeah.
And one day it will end up in a stairwell because he's offended people of certain minority groups.
Was that the penultimate episode you're referring to?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was the one that they took off air.
Yeah.
Or took off of syndication because it was offensive.
It was.
Yeah. So
when you have the DVDs, you can rewatch it as many times as you want, and I do.
I have the screen cap saved somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's good still reaction photo.
I wonder, was that a practical effect? I guess it was.
No, I think they, hoisted a Saab into a stairwell. And,
That's what I mean. Practical, it was real.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Real. Oh, yeah, it was real. It was real. They ruined, 30 Saabs in that show just for practical effect, I'm sure. Anyways. What else we got on this list here?
Lisa's Boxster.
Yeah.
It's
Lisa needs.
Yes, Lisa needs Boxster.
Boxster.
So my sister-in-law has commissioned me to sell her 2005 Boxster, which she bought about a year and a half ago, and now she's having a family change and needs to not have the car anymore.
She has an 05 base.
Yes.
5-speed.
It's a great driving car. It's really fun to drive around.
That's a good city car.
It is good. It's got the 17s.
Yeah.
Which is nice. 5-speed,
that really
glass rear window.
Yeah.
And it's a good car.
I think that 5-speed in the city is perfect too. Just you get to you get to drive it slow, if you drive it in the city, you drive it slow, but you get to you can ring it out in certain moments.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
totally.
Without going absolutely nuts and have fun.
Yeah.
But and I saw that you took some very bring a trailer-esque photos, ones that
Yeah.
are very popular currently, the Fantasy Junction ones, which seem, is it Fantasy Junction?
It's avant-garde.
Avant-garde, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I went to that spot and there was a train there, so
Yeah,
I
it was
wasn't
perfect.
planning on that. But
Yeah.
I shot the car. There might be a sale pending on it from a dealership.
Will
so
you
we'll
put
see.
in the ad, train is not for sale?
No.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll see.
Mm-hmm,
We'll see about that. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, I saw it up close the other day. It has a few
it's got some.
cosmetic issues, but overall looks pretty decent.
Yeah, overall, it's a solid car to drive.
Yeah.
It has no issues mechanically.
It only has like a mile on it.
Yeah, it's 55K.
Yeah. No, it's a good car.
Yeah, it is a good car.
You can still change out the IMS on it. So
You could.
the year after, you could not.
Yeah, and you cannot
So-
check the oil.
Nope. Oh yeah, it's digital.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that in the Cayman.
Yeah.
And so have you listed it? I saw that. Did you write that original listing, or did she write that?
No, I think I wrote it.
Okay.
Did it have some issues?
No, it was very brief.
Oh yeah. Well, it was Craigslist. No one.
Yeah, and I noticed that on at least one photo was turned counterclockwise the wrong way. None of the you couldn't see all the bumpers, and there were wrappers on the floor. So the perfect Craigslist ad.
Yeah. Well, I replaced all those pictures,
Yeah.
and it is listed. But yeah, like I said, there might be a sale pending. So I'm gonna talk tomorrow with this dealership that wants to buy it. So tomorrow is Lisa's cool with the sale. So I don't really have an update right now. But tomorrow they're processing it. So.
Yeah. Well, that'd be quick and easy.
Yeah, that would be, I think, for the best.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's unfortunate she is just not it's kind of a buyer's market.
Yeah.
If if you're in the market for one of these, a lot of people buying a Porsche they're buying as a second car.
Mhm.
They're not in a rush.
Yeah.
And you can wait around and pay an extra $1,500 to get one that's perfect.
Yeah.
So to be able to sell it, and also with the cosmetic issues, it's hard for me to say, I don't know, if I'm selling it in person to people and they're coming and looking at it, it's I've got to explain away this and knock this off the price and stuff.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's hard to do. I think this would be the perfect
I have
scenario.
seller's guilt, when it comes to stuff like that, where I wonder if they know about things like IMS or bore scoring or any of those things.
Well,
where if someone's like when I sold the GTI, I ended up selling it to that dealer anyways, because the guilt of what if some young student buys this or something and they don't realize that the engine could get chewed up when the chain tensioners blow, because it's just a common issue. But also as a seller, it's one of those things where I'm probably not going to say these engines real shoddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a unique position because I've been on the other side of this, where I was selling a car that was also gray Boxster that had IMS fixed.
Yeah.
And I thought it would command a $3,000 premium, and in the marketplace said no.
You mean
and
what you paid to have the IMS fix put in?
I paid $5, so
excellent.
I paid $5,500.
Well, you had the clutch done.
I had the clutch and flywheel done too.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I really did think it was a $2,000 or $3,000 premium just because it's IMS, and it's I had a big blurb about the IMS in the in the listing and stuff, and people that don't know, they don't want to hear about it, and so you've got to find someone that knows. But I think it doesn't quite equal that way. So I don't feel bad selling it.
My listings, I try to write it like I would want to read a listing. It's never just it's not the life story of the car per se, but I list all the highlights and words and whatnot. But then I'm so not confident about it. These flaws, the flaws that the car might have, are going to detract from it, because I think about it when I sold my E90, the 330i. At the time, I think I sold it for 10.5 or something like that, and it was
And it
probably
sold in like a day.
it sold in like a day, and it had like because that car had been street parked in a very dense metropolitan area, and it had been hit like 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and like I think they were all on the Carfax. Nothing like catastrophic, but enough to file insurance on it, and yeah, I was so sure like no one was gonna like want to buy this for market value. So even though it was perfectly maintained, I had records, everything. Like it was, other than the Carfax dings, like it was the perfect car. And sure enough, like some guy from Austin like drove down, and it was sold basically within the day. And I was so mad because like for like several years after, I would see listings for the same type of car for more than I sold it for that were in far less good shape. But so I come from the other direction. Like I'm very not confident about like.
Well, I mean, I was
selling.
not confident. That's why with this car, when I listed it, I had such a short description and everything. I was just like, here's the facts. And I had like, once I took good pictures, I had like a lot, as many of the imperfections, there's this ding here, there's this scrape here, there's this whatever. I tried to highlight those.
Yeah.
Which I think that left an impression on me when I bought a car and like they had pictures like documenting like these are all these imperfections, because it's like, oh, if they're willing to like highlight all these, then that means there's not any more, which is not necessarily true, but it kind of gives a false confidence, I think. But no, I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I was trying to be upfront, but I didn't have very much description, because it's like, it's like I have no history of the car. I have no records. There's no books. There's not even manuals, owner's manuals, any of that. So it's like, I don't want to get into the story. It's like, here's the car. It's a great driver. It's in great mechanical condition. It's been cared for, and I've gone through it, and I'm a PCA member selling it.
And she's managed somehow to only spend like a couple of $100 in maintenance
just
over the last
one oil change.
One oil change,
one
which
oil
is amazing.
Change. Yeah,
considering.
And they kind of went through, and they kind of went through the car, and they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna need brakes probably the next year."
Yeah,
that's it. And I'm like, "Oh
that's
my god,
just absolutely nuts."
I was expecting them to come back and be like, "Oh yeah, we found all these metal shavings when you pulled the oil."
I've never had a car that was that easy to own, but also like. I probably put a lot of that pressure onto myself, but still.
We also like want to make our cars perfect.
Yeah. So, and there are some, but mechanically that one seemed fine. Cosmetically, it probably would have cost a little bit to. Yeah. You wanted to make it really nice, I guess.
Right, it had some issues like cosmetically from the beginning, and then I think she's added a couple more, and then the interior is like. It is more worn for 55,000 miles. It is more worn than the miles indicate, and weirdly not in the normal 997 areas.
Yeah, you said that she had like every crevice stuffed with things.
Yes.
Yeah, that drives me slightly nuts because I keep like nothing in the car. Like even the glove box, it just has like the insurance papers. And then I keep like the manual at home or in the trunk or something like that. But like I keep absolutely nothing in the car. Also because it's a little bit safer here where I live. But still, that's so the do you keep things in your car?
Not really.
Okay.
I keep like I have
bowling balls and the.
In the 911, like I have like a lot of spares. Like I have a jump starter thing. I have a first aid kit. Like a lot of the stuff that I bought for my long road trip, I just keep in the 911. And then I also have my like instant step stool for photos. Yeah, which I should probably just keep in the Prius. But the Prius, I don't. The Prius in the back under the floor, like by the battery,
big, like a stored.
Thing.
So
I've kept. Because I was on a photo job where I didn't have rain ponchos and plastic bags for my camera and tape and stuff. So I have that kind of stuff stored in the Prius, but I don't have like loose things.
Yeah, I loved that storage space in the Prius under the floorboard. And did you notice that I don't know if this is probably every generation, but if you remove the tonneau like cartridge. For the tonneau cover, there is a perfect slot under the floorboard.
No, I never noticed that.
Yeah, so the next time you look in there. Oh, that's
cool.
Yeah, so you'll notice like 2 notches at the very extreme edges. That's so that you can slot the tonneau cartridge.
Oh, that's extremely cool.
Yeah.
And there's even like the side, like there's the sides of the under storage, and one side of the battery, like the starting battery, and the other side's like more storage. So I have stuff there, like that's where I keep like rain gear and tape and stuff. I learned to keep tape in the car ever since Hill Country Rally last year when I had to tape my wiper to the stick.
Oh, yeah.
So now I keep tape in every car.
I have gaffer's tape in the wagon. There's a huge binnacle under the floor as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I keep like rubber gloves because...
Does that car have a spare tire?
No.
Okay.
No spare tire. And there's no like space for one either. So the solution is just like any modern BMW is just you can get a spare tire. You're just gonna have to like literally like strap it down in your trunk. So
the Mini has a spare tire like under the bottom, like
a truck,
like in a truck.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that weird?
That's really weird because I thought it was on run flats by default.
I don't think so.
Okay, I would rather just have a spare tire, honestly, because run flats are terrible. And once the tires in the BMW are gone through, I'm probably gonna switch out of that. And that, like in the old E90, that just improved the handling tremendously.
Yeah.
And comfort. But so I don't know where I was going with the storage thing. Oh, but all cars should have hatches of some kind because you can integrate. Like I feel like that gives you the freedom to have all of these neat features that you would normally never have, like in a sedan or a coupe.
Mm-hmm.
Like the E91 has so if you take off the tonneau cartridge thing, which is really heavy, you are supposed to slot it into, it's hard to describe it. Once you fold the seats down, basically the upper part of the seat has these tracks that you slot the tonneau cartridge into, and then there's a separate tonneau that you, like a secondary one that you tug on, and what it is it's a net. It's a dog net. So you can raise that net and then attach it to these like hooks in the roof.
Oh,
and
nice.
It creates like this huge netted area in the back I assume it's for dogs. I don't know. Maybe for cats too.
Yeah, maybe for
cats. I have very little experience with cats. But do you take cats in the car, like just freely? Have you done that?
I did when I had my good cat.
Okay.
Yeah, he would sit on my lap in the Prius and I would drive around.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would drive Laura to work and I would have a cat with me.
Okay. And so the other ones,
good cats will just sit with you. Other ones,
the other
not
ones,
so much.
well,
they get real curious about like gas pedals and stuff,
or like wrap themselves around your head like sunglasses.
Yeah,
they're not see through.
You know, I've only owned 5 cars, 6 if you count the Mini as mine, and I've never had a car with a normal trunk.
Oh yeah,
like everything's either been a hatchback or like Porsche.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, do you consider the Boxster's trunk the rear one?
I don't consider it like a sedan trunk.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah,
that's the closest to a sedan trunk, but I still think it's different.
I guess. I remember when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like the liftover cutouts that trunks have, because I think at the time my parents had a Taurus and a Volvo 740, and it just had like the old style trunk, and they were sedans, so it had like that kind of really shallow, or not shallow, but like the high trunk basically. It was just like a lid.
Oh, and yeah.
I just thought, for some reason when I was a kid, I thought it was so revolutionary that like Toyotas had like these cutouts.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the Taurus. It was just a lid.
It's just like a lid. So it was basically like the Boxster, but just maybe it waterfalled over just slightly, which is such a smart idea. And why didn't people do that like forever ago?
Because it costs slightly more,
I guess. And I remember one of the first cars I think I saw that in was an LS 400. My doctor uncle had just he purchased like a 1990 LS 400, and I was like, this is an amazing car, especially because of this liftover thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I got the Celsior, the one and only reason. It's for the liftover, even though every
Makes sense.
car that I've ever owned has had the liftover. But anyways, yes. So you had a thing in here about seal gray. What of it? What of it?
Oh, I was just gonna say because I shot those pictures of the car and I was like, oh, and I was editing them and I was like, man, I do not miss this color.
Oh,
It's so weird to shoot. Like it's metallic gray.
I like seal gray.
I know, but it's weird to shoot because the top turns super blue
Oh yeah.
and the bottom turns super brown.
Okay.
Like reflecting on the
Yeah.
ground. Like it doesn't.
It's
like
such a neutral color.
Silver looks neutral and it usually shows up neutral, but seal
Yeah.
gray, I don't know. It just gets
Seal
very
or
extreme.
silver, I imagine you can better color balance because it runs cool, and then everything just kind of runs cool.
Yeah.
Like from
I
a
think
photography
so.
nerd standpoint, it seems like the more neutral the color, like where like it'll either reflect cool or warm.
Right. Well, seal gray is also a warm gray.
Yeah.
Anyway, just editing those pictures, I was like, oh yeah, I dealt with this.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a seal gray Boxster myself,
Yeah.
and it reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, I don't miss
think
this at all.
technically that's in the 987 that you shot. That would have been meteor gray, technically.
Oh, Lisa's Boxster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I think they changed the color or something like that because
That's stupid.
it is stupid because also like my car, the 86, is meteor gray metallic
Yeah.
and is basically seal gray,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yours doesn't seem as warm.
it's not as warm. I noticed today, and we had some weird cloudiness today, and it's almost like a translucent gray. I can't describe it exactly, but it's not quite like a seal gray. But I always liked it because it was just kind of like a non-choice color. Like it was so unoffensive. You could never hate it, looking at it at least. But okay, what do you think of the? What do you think of? Do you remember that I saw a 1/18th scale model, 996 turbo in guards red.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of turbos, 996s, or just any modern Porsche in guards red?
I think I think there's a very cool simplicity to it.
Yeah.
Like I think a 991.
Is it?
It looks really good in guards red because it's so uncommon because there's so many grays
Yeah.
and silver cars.
Is it too much though on like a modern car because there's so much body?
I don't think necessarily.
Okay. Because I was remember when we went to go look at that one,
Yeah.
996 turbo a long time ago, and it was in guards red, and I was just like debating back and forth whether or not like that if it was a color that I wouldn't eventually like hate on a car like that, and I still like am very undecided. But
I think it's cool. I think silver's cooler on that specific car.
yeah,
Like a 996 Carrera in guards red seems like the coolest thing.
yeah, it's a lot of red. Oh, speaking of 991s, someone gave me a car cover today for my
Ooh.
car.
Ooh.
I was in the parking lot of my office, and it was someone who was interested in cars, etc. And he's involved with the property, and so he was washing a car on the property, which is a whole nother story. He washes cars on the property, and so I had the Carrera out, and I was.
Did you tell him he was doing it wrong by using water?
Yeah. Oh God, we'll go into that another episode.
We
But-
did that in the previous one.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, fine, whatever. So I parked the car, and he walked over, and he was like, "Hey, do you want a car cover for your car?" Like, and I think it was his ex-girlfriend's car. It was it was from a 991 GTS, and he was like, "I know it's not the same car, but it's kind of the same general shape. Do you want it? It's a really nice car cover."
We have to drape this over your car and take a picture. And there's like going to be 4 feet on either side of extra
Yeah,
saggage.
yeah. I'm really curious too, because I mean, it is basically the same general shape, and with this, because I have the tail on my car still, it's probably sort of the same like rear end girth. So yeah, let's do it. So I have a nice car cover for
Wow.
yeah. So that was nice of him to think of that. Although, like now I'm kind of afraid that like I don't know where that car cover's been.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyways, so okay, so it's almost May, and we'll be going to Los Angeles
Mm-hmm.
for Loopsy Cult 6. Wait,
Yes.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Universal Studios.
Oh my God.
You know, I was kind of gonna say like, I don't know. I was kind of gonna sit this one out, and then I saw the location, and I was like,
yeah, like
it's so cool.
unavoidable. Like you just have to go to this one.
It's
like,
gonna be.
it fulfills many things. I know it. You were what were you gonna say?
It's gonna be like on the back lot, like on the fake city streets.
Yeah, where the Back to the Future clock tower and
Yeah.
everything is. And I know it's just so like, I don't know if this just verges a little bit on like, you know, fucking tourist, but I'm kind of excited. Like this is kind
I'm
of
super
really
excited.
cool.
It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and that is a very good.
I think they're gonna
backdrop.
limit the cars this year too, because last year there was
Yeah.
like 500 cars, and it was just too much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I can only imagine like
Right.
it'd be slightly difficult
Yeah.
in a place like this, but yeah, that's gonna be exciting. So
Yeah.
we'll be up there, and what is it? 20? No,
It's like the 11th.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
It's coming up quick.
Yeah.
It's like 2 weeks.
Oh,
It's 2.5 weeks away.
Okay. Glad we booked all the things then
Yeah.
ahead of time, because normally like we're kind of like, I think you are much like me, waiting for like just to make sure very last moment, like
Yeah.
just in case there are not better plans to lock down. So, and we're not going to Toro anything like terribly interesting this time.
What did you decide to rent?
There wasn't anything like on Toro that seemed worth it. They were cool cars, but they were like way expensive. So this time I just went with Sixt.
Okay.
Whenever I fly into Seattle, I always rent from Sixt, and they always have good cars.
Yeah. When that
So-
one time, we'll have to do a Turo only episode. But that one
Yeah.
time that my car disappeared on the street, I was able to walk to Sixt in
Yeah.
Venice and get a different car, and I got like a 328 Xi or something.
Yeah, I mean that's just that like they have like normal car prices, but it's like I've had like several S90s, Volvo S90s in Seattle, and it wasn't that much. Ooh, excuse me. And so this time, I didn't want to go through the trouble of like
Yeah.
picking up the car or picking out the car, and there's always that kind of like. I like do kind of look at their profile to see if like they might be an asshole about like how their car
You
is.
manage to find the assholes every
I
time.
kind of do, and
When they say don't drive on Angela's Crest with my car, even though it's a
and
public
then I
road.
do.
Yeah.
They then send me a text message that says, "We have tracked you. Please don't be on that road. Please pay us $80 immediately."
That is such BS.
Yeah. So I just I'm probably I'm
Did
always
that guy leave you a review?
no, and I didn't
Okay.
leave him a review either.
Okay.
But I always get or similared anyways, and their or similars are decent enough. But I picked out a Velar class,
Oh.
so
Okay.
and it was pretty cheap. So we'll see. I hope it's a Velar because I'd love to spend some time with one.
I would too.
So we'll see. But the equivalent would be an XC90, which I haven't. But an XC90 is probably just like a tall S90 anyways,
Yeah.
so not all that different. But so that's that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what else we got here?
Not too much.
All right.
We'll talk about the drive share after I do it.
Fine.
And
Is it time
What is-
for?
I think it is.
Okay. New for. OO.
The year 2000.
It's always got to be two. It's got to be two numbers.
Yeah.
The year. It's not the aughts, I guess.
It is the
What-
aughts. It's
Aughts?
the aughts.
The aughts. Yeah. 19. Well, I guess we already said 2000. This year we're doing 1900.
2000.
So the year 2000 is. Did we have like an intro for that? I don't remember. Well, it's too late.
We'll put in the Ion Springfield theme.
So the year 2000 had a lot of new and familiar cars, and a lot of them are very awful.
It was a bit of a tragic time. So how are we going to do this time? Oh, will you pour me some?
It's time for...
Oh, was that directly into the mic?
Yeah. Time for a break from our sponsors. Glug, glug, glug.
Oh, dear God, you poured it. Okay, that's good. He just spilled it all over the control unit.
Yep. Maybe it'll sound good for once.
So how are we going to do this time? We're doing the daily crush and drive once. Are we picking each other's, or are we just picking our choices?
Why don't we pick each other's? Because I kind of liked how that goes. It lends an element of surprise.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I'm choosing for you.
Sure.
Let's see. So... okay. So, Fuch, I'm going to pick for you. I'll pick you something nice. I'll go with...
Wait, are you picking which ones I will FMK, or are you picking me 3 cars and I choose which?
No. I'm picking for you. This is for you.
Okay,
This
fine.
is how this goes.
Sure.
So, oh, I guess no.
You decide the 3
Boy.
cars and I make the
We're
vote.
real organized here. Okay, fine.
Welcome to hour 3 of New for 96.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick for you the Spiker C8.
Okay. Got my kill.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just kidding.
There's some good ones here. Oh, okay. Chrysler PT Cruiser, which came out in the year 2000. The Pontiac
I thought that was like 98.
Aztec.
Okay.
And those
That's
are your
all-
3 cars.
Those are my 3 cars.
Those are your 3 cars.
Um,
Thought I picked the worst ones, but there's some more in here.
I guess I would daily the Spiker because
You don't want to end up...
I don't want to end up. I would drive the Aztec once because I'd be curious, and I would crush the PT Cruiser. And I've already driven a PT Cruiser once, and,
Yeah.
and it was terrible.
It was Blake's personal PT Cruiser.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna pick for you. I'm gonna make this harder.
Mm.
I'm gonna pick good things
You're
because
gonna
I'm
pick,
not.
like, all of the non-US market ones that I will have no idea what they are.
No. Okay, I'm gonna pick the S60,
Okay.
the BMW Z8,
Mm-hmm.
and the Acura MDX.
Oh, you just this is too straightforward. I am going to Fuch the Z8 because that'd be neat to drive once at least, even though it's not my favorite car in the world. Who wouldn't marry a Volvo? A good, sensible Volvo, and that's a good Volvo, the S60. I like that generation, and obviously, I'm gonna kill the MDX because I've never liked that. It's just been that is probably one of the most uninspiring Luxo. I don't even know what
continues
Luxo.
to be,
And
it's
it
near
continues
luxury.
to be. It's near luxury. Yeah. So that's my thing. So let's fly through this list.
All right, let's
here.
fly through just the U.S. market cars. Let's not get hung up on the things that we don't know what they
because
are.
some of them are pretty. Okay,
Okay,
let's just go. All
right.
right.
The 147 is cool.
yeah,
the Alpha
Alpha
147 is really cool.
I didn't know what an Alpha 937 was. Oh yeah, I did. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't
that
know
was
that.
the GT.
Yeah, although
Those are beautiful.
the preview is probably not the generation from 2000. Ooh, the Buick Galate, the GL8, which is now a Mercedes apparently. So that was just like a Chinese market Terraza of some kind.
Yeah.
Probably not. Okay, so don't know what that is. Don't care. What is a Courage? Oh, it's a race car.
Yeah, the Courage. It's
Oh,
French.
Courage. Pardon me.
Pierce Courage.
I
His
like
team.
this just for the name. The Dacia Soup R Nova.
It's amazing.
But you have it's spelled SUPE.
What about
cap
this
R
Daewoo
Nova.
Magnus Walker? Daewoo is life.
Oh my god, look at the face. This looks like a robot. Like, it looks like a fake
Oh
cartoon
yeah,
robot. The
yeah.
Daewoos. Boy, Daewoos were
They were a thing.
never fortunate
They were a
looking.
thing.
Yeah. The Escape,
Oh,
Ford
the
Escape,
the
the
first
gen.
and worst.
Yeah. Oh, the Sport
I was
Track.
just thinking about that was Dexter's car for like
Oh,
most of the
yeah.
series was the first gen.
No,
Ford
he had a
Escape.
second. He had a second. Oh, did he have a first? He had
I
a
think
second.
It was
gen
an
at some point.
LCI.
He had a hybrid.
Okay, but that's an LCI.
Okay, yeah, because he had to have the sneaking. with
Yeah,
the silence.
that's an LCI.
Yeah,
What else did he drive?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so the next one is the Explorer Sport Track, which was an awful looking thing.
Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, and the Explorer Coupe was also that, and a friend in high school like had a brand new one, and I hated that so much because someone else also had the previous gen, which I thought looked way better, but also not good. What is a Honda Stream? Don't know, but
Ooh, it's cool.
it's a 5-door thing. It looks like a Mazda 5.
Yeah, it does.
Santa Fe, Kia These were the bad years for Korean
Oh
cars.
yeah.
Very bad. Basically, though, we can summarize like a lot of these cars as these were like the oval years, the puffy oval years.
Yeah.
Low tech, I'm unfamiliar with.
It was like a kit car, I believe.
Fine. Lotus. Good
The
car.
340i. 340R was cool.
Yeah.
Exige was cool.
Oh. The W203 C
Did
class.
you know that generation off the top of your head?
I actually thought it was the 202, but the 202 was something else. Was the previous one. This one, the early generation of this was very bad, I thought, and later it got a little better. The mini hatch. Oh, they made that all the way up into 2000. Oh, wait.
I think it's the first gen. I think they're saying the first gen.
Oh, was it? Oh, in Europe it came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Okay, because it didn't come out here until like 02, right?
Right. That's a weird. I've never heard it termed that. I've always heard
Yeah.
it termed as the mini hardtop.
Oh, weird. Okay. The
Morgan
what about
Arrow
that?
8.
Oh yeah, the cross-eyed,
Yeah.
etc. Nissan, so a bunch of future Uber cars, a bunch of Opals, a Peruda. Oh, it looks like a K car or a key car, but I don't know what that is. Moving on. We talked about the Aztec, the Proton, Waya. Ooh, I like this one.
The
Like the
Corniche?
Corniche of the time, because they did some cool variants of that. Even though I forget what it was called. Anyways, moving on. The Roof RGT.
Oh, I would like to talk about the RGT for
Okay.
a moment. The RGT is like what really got me into Porsches. Because in Gran Turismo they didn't have Porsche license, so they had roofs. So they had the 3400S, which was the Boxster with a 3.4.
Nice.
And they had the RGT, which was basically like a homebrew GT3 made from Carrera parts. And the RGT was like one of the nicest cars to drive. And the game is, fairly realistic and everything. And it was so good. And so you could basically have, not as good of tires and be as fast as you would be in another supercar on like soft tires because of the way the grip was, because it seemed to do more with less grip. So as you made the tires worse and worse, like a Ford GT might spin out or be really hard to control, but a Roof RGT could be, as fast as anything. And I thought that was very cool, and it was just something so unique about the way it drove. So that's what really like driving that in the game is what made me like pursue like getting a Boxster in real life, because it was so unique. It was so intuitive and enjoyable.
Oh my god. So that's the history. That's the start of it all.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
It looks cool, yeah.
Yeah. Although this one is the
Yeah, it's
a
showing the wrong one. But it kind of looked like a GT3.
Yeah.
The front bumper wasn't as good, but anyway. Which ironically, the 3400S was a Boxster that had the 996 GT3 front bumper.
Oh yeah. Ooh, but more importantly, the Saturn L series also came out.
And it was a
that
Saab.
year.
You said it was a Saab. Really?
Yeah, I think it had similar underpinnings to the Saab 9.5.
The LS was really the last hurrah for Saturn, right?
It was.
Well, I
it
guess
was
they did make a bunch of SUVs and things.
the View, which
And they made the
View was
Aura?
actually not terrible.
Every time I see a View redline, I get very excited.
That's so rare.
I know.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, not very nice.
Well, the L series is like when Saab. I say it was the last hurrah. The L series was like when Saturn stopped being Saturn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was like in the 90s, if it was like say like 95, like
Yeah.
Saturn had its own devout brand of weirdos.
It did.
Just like Saab. They were independently different, but it was just like we like our weirdo cars
Yeah.
that are plastic
Yeah.
and they're unique and the dealership experience is
Birthday
different.
cards for your car, etc.
Yeah. And then like everything GM does, they turned it to shit and they just started making it like, guess what? Now it's a Cavalier.
Yep.
Like they just merged all the platforms, everything
Yep.
that made it unique. It's like, well, that's gone.
Yep. Well, I mean, and I think moving to midsize was like a really weird move too. Like they honestly should have just kind of kept with utilitarian small cars, even if they had eventually moved to CUVs.
But I mean, to the L series, like I feel like that was the replacement. Like I don't think that was like that was not a like a.
I thought they were trying to move up market.
I think I don't know about
with the
that.
luxury sedan Saturn, the LS.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the lineup, but I feel like it was just a replacement for whatever they had, because everything they had was from like originally 1990.
Yeah, that would have been great if it just stuck with that. Probably would have been better. Oh my god, bunch of Toyotas. These are the bad years for like the Highlander. It looked not very good. The Sequoia looked awful.
What did the first Highlander look like? I thought it looked pretty good.
Really? It looked like that.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
It looked very like Japanese market.
I guess so.
And kind of like it looked like very much of the design language of the original IS.
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. They at the time, but then that competes with like I like the RX of that generation, that era a little bit better, and it would have been
but the Highlander was like the unpretentious RX.
I guess I don't know, but if this is true, I'm just gonna make this up, but I think they were both the Toyota Harrier or based on the same car.
I think you're absolutely right.
So, and the Harrier was way cooler for no reason that I know of. So, and then we go into Volvos, and then it had the V70s. The V70 is just the wagon version of the S60. That was a cool one.
Why wasn't it called the V60?
Because Volvos always have V plus 10 on the sedan, and that's what
pretty stupid.
Except for the V90, because V100 sounds weird. And the V90 is pretty cool. No? Yeah? I saw one the other day, and it looks really nice. It's so long. It's so long looking.
I only see the like cross country ones.
Oh no, I saw like it was like a very well dressed older lady driving, like instead of a Range Rover, she decided a Volvo wagon would be the classic choice.
Cool.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And also as a side note, and probably our last note before we end this all, is the I saw a Volvo 240 pickup today.
Ooh.
And I wanted to chase after it to take a picture of it, and I just couldn't like get up to it, and it was so weird looking.
That's cool.
I would expect to see that in like Portland, but like seeing that here is very strange.
Very strange.
Yeah. So, all right, that was very loud of me, right there. Thanks for listening, all. Kevin, anything else?
I think that's a podcast.
I think that's a podcast. Thanks for listening. Please
bye.
Like and subscribe. And then I'll say bye.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
All right. Goodbye.